Chapter 448. As for the dragon bone, it became smaller and smaller under the devouring of the 9 dragons' bloodline. This refinement took 7 days. Roar. Suddenly, the roar of a dragon pierced through the clouds and shook the entire mountain peak. Many figures were alarmed and flew into the sky to look at the mountain peak. That's the East Sky Courtyard. It's Lu Ming. What the hell is he doing now? He's probably cultivating some kind of secret technique. The further one goes on the path of martial arts, the more important the concept of heaven and earth is. He only knows how to cultivate some unorthodox secret techniques. His combat strength has increased, but what's the use of that? That's right, his path is wrong. There's no need to pay attention to him. Let's go. After a round of discussion, these people could not be bothered with him and returned to their respective courtyards. At this moment, Lu Ming's cultivation had reached a critical moment. The true qi in his body was condensed to the extreme and was completely formed by true dragons. True dragons swam in his meridians. Then, another dragon roar came from the vortex in his dantian. At this moment, the vortex in his dantian had undergone a fundamental change. Originally, the vortex was only formed by pure true qi, but now it had become 2 true dragons. The 2 true dragons circled each other and spun continuously. On the side, there were constantly small true dragons flying in and out. True Dragon Battle Technique, 9th level, Breakthrough. Lu Ming's eyes shone brightly. After more than 10 days of cultivation, he had completely refined the dragon blood flower and dragon bone. The True Dragon Battle Technique had broken through 2 levels, from the 7th level to the 9th level. Lu Ming's strength skyrocketed once again. Roar. At this moment, a true dragon flew out of his dantian and rushed into his consciousness. Boom. There was a rumbling explosion in his consciousness and a message appeared in Lu Ming's mind. True Dragon Battle Technique, Greater Mastery of the Foundation Establishment Section. This was a message that suddenly appeared in Lu Ming's mind. What does that mean? Greater Mastery of the Foundation Establishment Section? Could it be that the True Dragon Battle Technique is divided into many sections and what I'm cultivating now is only the Foundation Establishment Section? Lu Ming was in a daze, his mind full of questions. Perhaps, it's very likely. After all, Supreme Nine Yang was the one who had brought the true battle dragon art out of the 9 dragon ruins. Perhaps he had only brought a part of it out and not the whole thing. If that's the case, there are other chapters of the true battle dragon incantation. If the Foundation Establishment chapter alone can allow one to cultivate 10 times the Zhenqi, how terrifying would the other chapters be? Lu Ming's mind was filled with thoughts. As he thought about it, his heart was filled with anticipation. Looks like I'll have to visit the 9 dragons' ancient ruins if I have the chance. Lu Ming secretly decided. It could be said that his current achievements were inseparable from the 9 dragons. The first bloodline was awakened by a drop of blood essence from the 9 dragons. The true battle dragon art and 9 dragons' heaven stomping steps that he cultivated were both brought out from the 9 dragons' ruins by Supreme 9 Sons. Lu Ming was bound to have a trip to the 9 dragons' remains. Now that I've mastered the true dragon battle art, it's time to take a look at the 100 Gods Slope. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Immediately after, Lu Ming left the East Sky Courtyard and arrived at the plaza where he had first entered. He took out the Empyrean Divine Guard token and injected his Zhenqi. Instantly, inscriptions appeared and a small whirlpool appeared in the air. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming stepped into it. In the next moment, Lu Ming realized that he was already in the Myriad Star City, under the huge pavilion of the Empyrean Divine Palace. Swish! Lu Ming's figure moved and flew towards the west. The 100 Gods Slope was over 300,000 miles west of the Myriad Star City. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, it would only take him a few hours to travel 300,000 miles. 2 hours later, a region shrouded in grey fog appeared before Lu Ming's eyes. Looking from afar, this region seemed to be endless and had no end. It was very vast. The 100 Gods Slope was very strange. It was said that tens of thousands of years ago, the 100 Gods Slope was not called the 100 Gods Slope but something else. Suddenly, one day, a crack appeared in the sky. Over 100 corpses fell from the crack. These corpses were of various races. There were human-shaped corpses and those of other races. Some of the corpses were not big, while others were as big as mountains. According to records, there were people who saw the corpses of divine beasts like true dragons and phoenixes falling down. Every corpse had an overwhelming aura. They were unimaginable existences. Hence, people called it the 100 Gods Slope. After those corpses fell, the region of the 100 Gods Slope changed. The entire region was filled with killing intent and baleful aura. No one could enter this region. No matter how strong an expert was, if they entered that region, their body would be torn apart by the strong killing intent and their soul would be destroyed. Only after 10,000 years did a change occur. Someone discovered that those below Martial King could enter. However, those above Martial King were still unable to enter. It remained so until now. Those above Martial King would die if they entered. Once, there were even martial monarchs who barged in but never came out. However, those below Martial King would be fine if they entered. They could even obtain supreme fortuitous encounters. Inside, not only would one be able to comprehend the state of heaven and earth, one could even obtain some supreme treasures. There were even people who obtained the inheritance of supreme existences and soared to the sky, becoming a peak expert of the continent. There was a period of time when the 100 Gods Slope became the focus of the various factions of the divine desolate continent. However, as time passed, more and more people entered. The treasures and inheritances inside were almost all taken away. Hence, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace was able to occupy it. Otherwise, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace alone might not be able to take over such an important place. Even now, the 100 Gods Slope was still the most important holy land of the Tianxian region's Eastern Branch Palace. Very few people could enter. Every year, not many people could enter. Lu Ming slowly approached the 100 Gods Slope. Who is it? This is a forbidden land of my Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. Trespassers will be killed without mercy. A loud shout resounded. An aura soared into the sky like smoke. It was incomparably horrifying. A tall middle-aged man suddenly appeared not far from Lu Ming. This was definitely a king. He was incomparably strong. The 100 Gods Slope was the holy land of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. It was normal for there to be powerful existences guarding it. Lu Ming was certain that there was definitely more than one powerful figure around the 100 Gods Slope. Most likely, there were quite a number of powerful figures. Senior, I am the new Eastern Sky Divine Guard of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. This is my Divine Guard token. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Then, he took out the Divine Guard token and handed it to the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man took a look at it and his expression relaxed. He revealed a faint smile and said, "You are indeed an Eastern Sky Divine Guard. You have one chance to enter the 100 Gods Slope. Go on in. However, you can only stay there for 3 months. After 3 months, you must come out. Otherwise, there will be danger." As he spoke, he returned the Divine Guard token to Lu Ming. "Many thanks, Senior. I will definitely come out within 3 months. Chapter 449. When Lu Ming flew into the area filled with black fog, he suddenly felt a huge force acting on his body. Lu Ming's expression changed. He slowly descended and landed on the ground. "I can't fly at the 100 Gods Slope," Lu Ming muttered. Then, he looked around. It was strange. Everything was normal outside. However, when he flew into the area filled with grey fog, not only could he not fly, even the surrounding environment had changed. Looking around, it was a grey desert. Yes, it was a desert. Not a single blade of grass could be seen. Without hesitation, Lu Ming dashed forward in big strides. However, not long after, Lu Ming's expression changed again. That was because he felt that his cultivation was being suppressed and it kept decreasing. Not long after, his cultivation had been suppressed to the middle stage of Martial Ancestor Realm 9. It's one thing to hear rumors, but it's another thing to experience it for yourself. Watching my cultivation constantly drop, this feeling is really uncomfortable. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Then, he ignored it and continued to run forward. According to the experience of the predecessors, The deeper one went into the 100 Gods slope, the more opportunities one would obtain. 2 hours later, Lu Ming's cultivation had been completely suppressed. He could not use his genuine qi at all. He was no different from an ordinary person who had not cultivated. Luckily, Lu Ming's physical strength was extremely strong. He had already reached the 6th grade greater success realm. He could still retain a certain amount of combat strength. Moreover, he was not suppressed in the use of force and intent realm. However, since he could not use his genuine qi, Lu Ming's speed was greatly reduced. He could only travel like an ordinary person. Whoosh! Lu Ming's muscles bulged. He was like an agile monkey running in the desert. Suddenly, Lu Ming stopped in his tracks. He sensed a mysterious fluctuation spreading toward him. A wisp of blue light was floating in the air. This is the intent realm of heaven and earth, the water intent realm of heaven and earth. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. In the 100 Gods slope, there was a kind of fortuitous encounter where one would encounter the intent realm of heaven and earth floating in the air. According to the expert speculations, this realm of heaven and earth should have been left behind by the corpses that had fallen here. Those powerful existences had comprehended the intent domain of heaven and earth to an inconceivable level when they were alive, merging it with their will. Even after death, the intent domain of heaven and earth didn't disperse, floating around the world. If one could come across it and comprehend it, they would have a great harvest. Because these concepts of heaven and earth seemed to have been tamed by someone, the difficulty of comprehending them was much lower. A wisp of it was worth at least several power Upanishad crystals. Unfortunately, it's the concept of water. I can't use it now. Lu Ming sighed and left reluctantly. He continued to move forward and wandered around. In the next 2 days, Lu Ming didn't encounter anything. Not to mention any treasures, he didn't even encounter a wisp of the realm of heaven and earth. On the 3rd day, Lu Ming encountered a strand of concept of earth, which made Lu Ming sigh in regret. However, on the 7th day, Lu Ming's luck came. He encountered a wisp of the concept of fire. Immediately, Lu Ming used his own power to entangle this wisp of concept of heaven and earth and started to comprehend it. As Lu Ming comprehended it, this wisp of concept of heaven and earth slowly dissipated like a power Upanishad crystal. No wonder the spots to enter the 100 Gods slope were so precious. It was because the number of concepts of heaven and earth wandering around the 100 Gods slope would decrease. Perhaps after a few years, the 100 Gods slope wouldn't be so attractive anymore. 1 day later, this wisp of concept of heaven and earth completely dissipated. Lu Ming's comprehension of the concept of fire had deepened greatly. He was getting closer and closer to comprehending a wisp of the concept of fire. Soon after, Lu Ming continued to wander around. On the 11th day after Lu Ming entered the 100 Gods slope, he encountered another wisp of concept of heaven and earth that was useful to him. The concept of thunder. Lu Ming rejoiced and started to comprehend it. His concept of thunder advanced by leaps and bounds. With this wisp of concept of heaven and earth, his concept of thunder reached great perfection. Lu Ming cultivated 3 kinds of concepts. In the 100 Gods slope, this was one of his advantages. It was easy to encounter concepts of heaven and earth that were useful to him. If he only comprehended one kind of concept, it would be much more difficult to encounter the corresponding concept of heaven and earth. He might encounter it only a few times in 3 months. However, after this, Lu Ming's luck seemed to have run out. For 7 consecutive days, he didn't encounter any concept of heaven and earth. I'm really unlucky. I just wander around all day. I can't even cultivate true qi. Lu Ming sighed. Suddenly, Lu Ming's expression changed. He smelled a faint medicinal fragrance in front of him. What's going on? There's desert everywhere. There's not a drop of water or even a blade of grass. Why is there a medicinal fragrance? Lu Ming was very curious. He followed the medicinal fragrance. Not long after, Lu Ming saw some rocks standing in the desert. It was Lu Ming's first time seeing rocks in the 100 Gods slope. The 100 Gods slope was full of desert and sand. There's water and a spiritual medicine. Lu Ming walked into the pile of rocks. He suddenly realized that there was a small pond in the middle of the pile of rocks. It was less than 1 meter in length and width. There was a clear spring in the middle of the pond. It emitted a shocking amount of spiritual chi and life essence. There was a blade of grass in the middle of the spring. The blade of grass had thin and long leaves. It had 8 leaves, and each of them was like a sword. The leaves were emerald green. There is a blade of grass in the 100 Gods slope. How magical. Plus, I can feel that this blade of grass is emitting an extremely powerful sword intent. Lu Ming seemed to be in deep thought. Perhaps, there was a supreme being's body that fell here. Its original essence turned into this pool of spring water, and its original will turned into this sword-shaped plant. Incredible. These two things are incredible. This clear spring contains a powerful life essence. It can cultivate top-tier spiritual medicine, and this blade of grass, if a sword cultivator touches it, he or she will definitely treat it like a treasure. He or she will be able to comprehend the sword Dao from it. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He was extremely excited. After that, Lu Ming took out a jade box. He carefully placed the clear spring and the blade of grass into the jade box. There was not even a drop of spring water left in the small pond. Wait, I wonder if cultivating spiritual medicine will work on the 2 branches. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He suddenly thought of the 2 pieces of withered branches that shot out from the heavenly gates. The 2 branches appeared in his hands. He then placed the 2 branches into the clear spring in the jade box and soaked them in it. Let's wait for a while and see if it will work. Lu Ming smiled and kept the jade box in the Temple of Paragon. After that, Lu Ming continued to move forward. In the blink of an eye, 1.5 months had passed since Lu Ming entered the 100 Gods slope. In this period of time, Lu Ming had encountered a wisp of wind intent and a wisp of fire intent. Lu Ming's understanding of the wind intent had improved again. As for the fire intent, it had improved and he had comprehended a wisp of the fire intent. Lu Ming's fire intent had finally reached the intent level. Chapter 450. For the rest of the time, Lu Ming searched for the intent realm while comprehending the 3rd level of the 3 ultimate skills of the Dragon God. Although he couldn't use true chi in the 100 God slope and couldn't use the 3 ultimate skills of the Dragon God, it didn't hinder him from comprehending it. As long as he could comprehend it, he would be able to successfully cultivate it after leaving the 100 God slope. 2 days later. While Lu Ming was running, he suddenly noticed a young man running in front of him. That young man looked to be around 27 or 28 years old. He had a stocky build and looked very strong. Obviously, he also saw Lu Ming. His eyes flashed and he continued running, disappearing in front of him. Looking at his age, he should be the previous batch of Di Tian Divine Guard. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. This was the first time he met someone else after entering the 100 God slope. Those who could enter the 100 God slope were definitely not simple. They were either geniuses or had strong backing. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and didn't think too much about it. He continued to search while comprehending the 3 ultimate skills of the Dragon God. On the 2nd day, Lu Ming came to a desert with howling winds. In this desert, the winds were fierce and incessant, stirring up sand and dust. Lu Ming didn't have true chi to protect his body. He could only circulate the power of the wind to block the surrounding winds. Chirp! Chirp! Suddenly, Lu Ming heard a bird chirping in front of him. Bird chirping? Lu Ming was stunned. The 100 God slope could be said to be barren and dead silent. How could there be birds? Lu Ming was very curious. He followed the sound and searched. That is, not long later, Lu Ming stopped and looked at the sky in shock. 100 meters high in the sky, there was a round pearl. The round pearl was green in color and crystal clear, as if it was made of the most beautiful green jade. On the surface of the round pearl, there was a small green bird. It was flying around the round pearl and letting out chirping sounds. Lu Ming could tell at a glance that the green bird wasn't a real bird, but an illusion created by the round pearl. Could this be the weapon spirit of a spirit weapon? A spirit weapon giving birth to an artifact spirit. What level was this spirit weapon? Moreover, it has such a rich concept of wind. This is definitely a supreme weapon. Ha ha ha, I'm rich, I'm rich. Lu Ming was ecstatic. If he could obtain such a spirit weapon, it would have endless uses. Lu Ming approached cautiously. His body emitted the concept of wind, wanting to draw the bead down. Chirp, chirp. When Lu Ming approached, the little green bird clearly noticed Lu Ming. It let out a crisp chirp and blinked its large eyes curiously, sizing up Lu Ming. Lu Ming revolved the concept of wind and approached the bead. When the little bird came into contact with Lu Ming's concept of wind, its eyes revealed a friendly expression. He seemed to enjoy Lu Ming's aura very much. Haha, there's hope. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He exerted even more effort to display the concept of wind. Brat, scram. This bead is mine. At this moment, a cold shout sounded. A tall and burly young man strode over. Lu Ming's gaze turned cold. This young man was the young man he met yesterday. At this moment, the burly young man's eyes were filled with greed as he stared fixedly at the bead. Immediately, a surge of concept of wind also erupted from his body. It was so deep that it was even above Lu Ming's. Brat, disperse your concept of wind. Let me do it. The burly young man berated, his tone full of command. Idiot. Lu Ming said indifferently. He then ignored the other party and concentrated on controlling the concept of wind. At this moment, the little bird was bathing in Lu Ming's concept of wind. It seemed to be enjoying it very much. A pair of small wings flapped and flew towards Lu Ming with the bead. Success. Lu Ming was ecstatic. The little bird flying towards him meant that it approved of him. Damn it. Seeing this, the burly young man shouted angrily, "This bead is mine. You want it? Dream on." Boom. A powerful concept of wind rushed towards the bead. Boom. The burly young man's concept of wind collided with Lu Ming's concept of wind, giving off a violent roar. Lu Ming's concept of wind trembled and dissipated with a bang. The little green bird seemed to be frightened. It screamed and flapped its wings, flying towards the sky with the bead. Where do you think you're going? The burly young man roared. He bent his legs and the muscles all over his body exploded. His burly figure soared into the sky and grabbed at the bead. Damn it. At this moment, Lu Ming roared. He stepped on the ground and his figure also soared into the sky, rushing towards the bead. Chirp, chirp. The little bird screamed and flapped its small wings rapidly. Gusts of wind emerged. The little bird and the bead turned into a green light and rushed forward, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Peng, peng. Lu Ming and the burly young man fell rapidly and landed on the desert, creating two large pits. Damn it. Lu Ming roared angrily. His eyes flashed with cold killing intent. The bead that was about to be in his hands was destroyed by the burly young man just like that. Lu Ming's heart was bleeding. That bead was absolutely extraordinary. It was a weapon used by a peerless expert who cultivated the concept of wind. If Lu Ming could obtain it and comprehend the concept of wind on it, his concept of wind would definitely advance by leaps and bounds. It would not be impossible for him to condense concept runes in a short time. But now, it was all gone. His killing intent towards the burly young man could be imagined. Kid, what are you shouting for? I haven't questioned you yet. Kid, I told you to disperse the concept of wind and let me do it. Why didn't you do as I said? Now that I've lost this supreme treasure, tell me, how are you going to compensate me for my loss? The burly young man stared at Lu Ming with a gloomy expression. His killing intent flickered. Compensate you? Haha. Lu Ming was so angry that he started laughing. He was the one who discovered it and was about to get it, but it was destroyed by the burly young man. Now, the burly young man actually wanted him to compensate. What a joke. I'll compensate you for your head. Idiot, today, you must die. Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he strode towards the burly young man. Haha, you want to kill me? What a joke. This is the 100 deities slope. Cultivation is suppressed here, but the physical body is superior. My physical body has already reached the 5th grade greater realm, surpassing some kings. You want to kill me? You're the one who will die. The burly young man laughed wildly. His muscles bulged as he took a step forward. His body rushed towards Lu Ming as he threw out a punch at the same time. Boom! Lu Ming threw out a punch as well, aiming at the burly young man's fist. You still dare to compete with me? You're courting death. Shatter. The burly young man revealed a hideous smile. He wanted to shatter Lu Ming's fist with one punch and make him lie on the ground and wail in pain. Pang! The two fists slammed into each other. Crack! As the burly young man wished, the sound of bones breaking could be heard. However, the burly young man's face did not have any trace of ferocity or excitement. There was only fear and disbelief. Ah! Chapter 451. The burly young man's face was completely squeezed together. His face was twisted with endless pain. Bang! Lu Ming's fist surged with terrifying power and erupted with a loud bang. The burly young man's fist exploded like tofu dregs. Ah ah ah! The burly young man's body retreated frantically as he let out a hysterical scream. The two punched each other. It was not Lu Ming's fist that exploded, but the burly young man's. Now, go to hell. Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he strode toward the burly young man. Ah, what are you doing? What are you doing? The burly young man screamed like a frightened little girl. He was no longer as arrogant as before. At this moment, there was only fear in his heart. The strength of Lu Ming's physical body was beyond his imagination. It was definitely above grade 6. His physical body had reached grade 6 before he became a martial king. How did he cultivate? What am I doing? Didn't you hear me? I'll send you to hell. Lu Ming's murderous intent was as cold as the snow in winter. It was bone-chilling. No, you can't kill me. I'm the son of the protector of Wind Palace. If you kill me, my father will not let you go. The burly young man roared. Haha, there are only the two of us here. If I kill you, how will your father know? Since you intervened to seize the bead, your fate has been sealed. Go to hell. Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and threw a punch. The physical body of a grade 6 upper realm expert was extremely terrifying. The punch shook the air like a falling meteorite. With a terrifying force, it blasted toward the burly young man. No, no! The burly young man roared, but it was impossible for him to dodge. He could only wave his other fist to block Lu Ming. Crack! The two fists collided. The burly young man's other fist also exploded like tofu. Ah, ah, my hand, my hand. The burly young man screamed miserably. His face was completely distorted and tears and snot flowed down his face. His whole body was trembling, his legs were shaking, and his pants were wet. He was so scared that he peed. Regret, incomparable regret. If he had known this would happen, he would not have snatched the bead. Originally, he thought that with his rank 5 physical body, he would be able to suppress Lu Ming. He had never expected Lu Ming to be so strong. Don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me, I know I was wrong, I know I was wrong. The burly young man staggered backward, begging as he retreated. Bang! In the next moment, a terrifying fist energy struck his chest. The violent fist energy directly penetrated his body and shattered his heart. The burly young man's eyeballs popped out of their sockets, and blood gushed out of his mouth. His face was filled with remorse, and in the next moment, he died. Lu Ming swiped his hand and took off the burly young man's storage ring. I'm so unlucky to have met this guy and let a peerless treasure escape. No, I have to keep chasing. Maybe I can catch up. Thinking of this, Lu Ming ran dozens of meters in one step, chasing in the direction where the bead flew. This chase went on for over 1,000 miles. However, he still did not see any trace of the bead. Ah, my precious bead. Lu Ming wanted to shout. However, Lu Ming was not willing to give up. He gritted his teeth and continued to chase. However, this time, Lu Ming stopped in less than 100 miles. Rumble. Buzz. In front of him, there was a deafening roar. Endless lightning flashed as if it was going to destroy heaven and earth. There was a sea of thunder. Endless thunder and lightning flashed everywhere like thunder snakes. It was extremely terrifying. There was a cauldron. The cauldron was simple and unadorned. It was as big as a mountain, suspended between heaven and earth. The endless lightning was emitted by this giant cauldron. In the sky, there were dark clouds. Between the dark clouds, there was a pool. In the pool, there was water constantly flowing down. The strange thing was that the water was blood red. It was like the water of the ocean, spreading toward the giant cauldron. The giant cauldron kept emitting lightning to bombard the blood-red water, but it was useless. The blood-red water kept hitting the giant cauldron. The giant cauldron was rumbling and shaking. The lightning on the cauldron was decreasing and the light became dim. Tribulation, this is tribulation. This giant cauldron is actually undergoing tribulation. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Although Lu Ming did not know what tribulation the pool in the sky was, it was definitely a heavenly tribulation. There were many kinds of heavenly tribulations. Lu Ming only knew a few common ones. A giant cauldron was actually undergoing tribulation. Lu Ming found it unbelievable. Rumble. The pool in the sky tilted slightly. Endless blood-red water poured down like the water of the ocean. The sky rumbled and rushed toward the giant cauldron. Dang! The giant cauldron shook. The incomparably huge cauldron emitted lightning that was thicker than a bucket, trying to repel the blood-red water. Unfortunately, although the lightning was terrifying, the blood-red water seemed to be able to restrain it. The lightning had no effect on the blood-red water. Rumble. The blood-red water kept hitting the cauldron. The giant cauldron kept shaking, as if it could not take it anymore. This giant cauldron is definitely like the bead from before. It's a supreme treasure. If I can get it, I'll be rich. Unfortunately, this heavenly tribulation is too terrifying. If I go in, I'll probably be washed away by the blood-red water and not even dregs will be left. Lu Ming thought to himself. He could only watch and feel anxious. At this time, the giant cauldron shook even more violently. The lightning it emitted was also decreasing. It seemed like it could not hold on any longer. Right at this moment, a sudden change occurred. The stone egg that had been hanging on Lu Ming's hair suddenly flew out. It emitted a bright light and rushed toward the pool in the sky. In the process of flying, the stone egg became bigger and bigger. In the end, it became bigger than a mountain. A crack appeared on the eggshell, like a huge mouth, and bit toward the pool. Rumble. The pool seemed to be alarmed. It shook slightly. Heaven and earth roared. Endless blood rushed out of the pool and rushed toward the stone egg. However, the stone egg shone and was not afraid at all. It rushed over and appeared above the pool. At the next moment, the stone egg opened its mouth and bit. Crack. Half of the pool was directly bitten. At this moment, the whole world shook violently. It was as if the heavens were angry and were about to destroy the world. However, at the next moment, crack. The stone egg opened its mouth again and directly swallowed the remaining half of the pool. Heaven and earth suddenly calmed down. Whoosh. The stone egg shone and quickly shrank. It flew back to Lu Ming's hair and hung on it as if nothing had happened. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. It took him a long time to react. Nest, what is this thing? It even swallowed the pool of the heavenly tribulation. Isn't this too heaven-defying? Lu Ming stared and muttered to himself. Although he knew that Dandan was extraordinary, this was indeed shocking. Clang. Chapter 452. Swoosh. The cauldron shrunk to the size of a fist and appeared in front of Lu Ming. The cauldron had 3 legs and 2 handles. The body of the cauldron seemed to be made of bronze and there were some strange patterns on it. Lightning crackled on the body of the cauldron. It was a lightning cauldron. The lightning cauldron floated in front of Lu Ming and seemed to be sizing up Lu Ming. Then, it flew a few rounds around Lu Ming. Lu Ming instinctively exuded the aura of lightning. Clang. The lightning cauldron shook slightly and suddenly slammed into Lu Ming's glabella. Lu Ming was shocked and instinctively retreated. However, it was too late. The lightning cauldron slammed into his glabella and in the next instant, it disappeared. Boom. Lu Ming felt the world shake and he blacked out. In the next instant, he realized that he had appeared in a hazy place. There was a boundless fog around him. A cauldron that was taller than a mountain floated in front of him. The lightning essence that was as vast as the ocean spread out. This is my sea of consciousness. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He did not expect that the lightning cauldron would rush into his sea of consciousness. Let's get out of here first. Lu Ming focused. In the next instant, his consciousness left his sea of consciousness and returned to his physical body. He looked around and saw that it was a desert. Peace was restored. Haha, that lightning cauldron ran into my sea of consciousness. Does that mean that it wants to follow me? Also, that terrifying lightning essence. Let's go and take a look. Lu Ming immediately appeared in the Temple of Paragon and focused. In the next instant, Lu Ming returned to the foggy place. This was his sea of consciousness. The lightning cauldron floated in the air motionlessly. The vast lightning essence continued to spread out. It was extremely rich. The lightning essence is too terrifying. Haha, I'm rich. Lu Ming laughed in his heart. Then, he called out to the lightning cauldron a few times, but there was no response from it. Although this lightning cauldron didn't have an artifact spirit, Lu Ming was certain that it definitely had its own spirituality. Now that it wasn't reacting at all, it was likely that it had been injured by the heavenly tribulation and needed to recover. Forget it. I'll comprehend the concept of thunder first. Lu Ming walked under the thunder cauldron and sat down cross-legged, comprehending the vast concept of thunder. The thunder intent from the thunder cauldron was too dense. It was dozens of times denser than the thunder intent in the Tao Enlightenment Palace. It was also clearer and easier to comprehend. It was as if there was a supreme existence teaching Lu Ming the concept of thunder at all times. Lu Ming felt as if he was bathed in a sea of thunder concept. His thunder concept was advancing by leaps and bounds. Awesome, this is awesome. Lu Ming was overjoyed. The carefree feeling of rapid improvement fascinated him, and he became even more focused on comprehending. As time passed, Lu Ming's lightning force increased at a terrifying speed. Thunder force, early stage of great accomplishment, middle stage of great accomplishment, late stage of great accomplishment. In a mere 5 days' time, Lu Ming's lightning momentum rushed to the grand completion stage in one stroke. However, Lu Ming did not have any intention of stopping. The state of thunder in the surroundings was simply too high quality. It was definitely not a first-grade state of thunder. It was many times higher than the first-grade state of thunder that a martial king comprehended. To comprehend in such an environment, for someone who was still in the realm of force, the speed of improvement was terrifying. It was just like a person earning money. When one had no capital, it would be difficult to earn tens of thousands of yuan. But when you have millions or tens of millions, is it still difficult to earn tens of thousands of yuan? It wouldn't be difficult. Lu Ming continued to cultivate, trying to break through to the intent realm. After Xiao Chen's state of thunder reached perfection, his speed of improvement started to slow down. However, that was only compared to before. Compared to others, he was still many times faster. Awesome, this is too awesome. I wonder what level the owner of this lightning cauldron is. I heard that even martial emperors would die if they came here. Could it be that they have surpassed the martial emperor realm? Lu Ming thought to himself. Surpass the martial emperor? Lu Ming simply did not dare to imagine it. In the divine desolate continent, martial monarchs were the peak experts. They ruled over an area, and their might shook the world. No one could defeat them. Was there really an existence that surpassed martial monarchs in the world? Lu Ming found it hard to imagine. No wonder. I heard that someone once obtained an inheritance at the 100 Gods Slope and became an expert that could move unhindered in the divine desolate continent. It is really possible. Lu Ming thought for a while before continuing to comprehend. Half a month, after only half a month, the power of thunder had undergone a qualitative change. It broke through the shackles in one move, transforming from state to intent realm. Thunder concept. Lu Ming had comprehended the thunder concept in one go. Ha ha ha. I really did not expect that I would comprehend the state of thunder so quickly. Now, I have comprehended the state of thunder for wind, fire, and thunder. What I need to do now is to merge the state of thunder with the state of wind and fire. Once the three states are merged, the three ultimate skills of the dragon god will immediately transform into a superior grade heaven-ranked martial technique. Then, My combat prowess will reach a horrifying level. At that time, how many battles will I be able to fight? 9 battles. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Legend had it that 9 was the limit. No matter how powerful the geniuses of the divine desolate continent were, they could only reach 9 battles at most. It was impossible to break that limit. It was like a rule. Legend had it that a 9-battle genius had the potential to become a martial monarch. Lu Ming felt great anticipation in his heart. For now, Lu Ming put aside the matter of comprehending the state of thunder. Then, he focused on merging the 3 states. Unfortunately, merging the 3 states was too difficult. The difficulty of merging the states increased tremendously with each additional state. Right now, merging the 3 states was even more difficult than merging the state of wind and fire. Fortunately, Lu Ming already had experience in merging the states. He could avoid many detours. However, he could not merge them in a short time. While Lu Ming was doing his best to merge the 3 states, a horrifying electric light suddenly burst out from a courtyard in the Thunder Palace in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. The electric light soared into the sky, and dark clouds immediately covered the sky. Lightning flashed and thunder roared. This time, countless people were alarmed. Heavenly tribulation. That is a heavenly tribulation. Someone is undergoing a tribulation to break through to Martial King. Who is it? It should be Xue Chao. Previously, I heard that he was in closed-door cultivation to break through to Martial King. Incredible. I wonder if he can succeed or not. Rumble. Following that, lightning flashed and thunder roared. A heavenly flame descended, and a tribulation descended. Half an hour later, the dark clouds scattered, and a loud roar shook the sky. Following that, a purple figure soared into the sky from the Thunder Palace. As he hovered in the air, lightning flickered around him, filling him with a disdainful aura. It really is Xue Chao. He broke through to Martial King. The Thunder Palace Master has another Martial King expert under his wing. How envious. He became a Martial King, transcending mortality, and has a lifespan of 1,000 years. I have to work hard. Discussions rang out in the surroundings. Most of them were filled with envy. Whoosh. Chapter 453. Haha, junior brother Chiu, as long as you work hard, you'll definitely be able to enter the king realm within 10 years. The purple-clothed young man, Xue Chao, laughed loudly, feeling extremely pleased with himself. Senior brother, please guide me in the future, Chiu Changkong said. Millimeter. Xue Chao nodded his head in satisfaction and said, Oh right, where's Lu Ming? I've already broken through to the Martial King realm and killing him is as easy as killing an ant. I'll find a chance to deal with him. Xue Chao placed his hands behind his back and looked disdainfully at the world. Lu Ming seems to have gone out some time ago. Chiu Changkong's eyes flashed with a cold light. Oh, he went out. He's lucky. I'll let him live for a while longer. Junior brother Chiu, find someone to keep an eye on him. Once Lu Ming returns, inform me as soon as possible, Xue Chao said. Thank you, senior brother. Chiu Changkong was overjoyed. In the 100 Gods slope, Lu Ming was trying his best to merge the 3 forces. Time flew by and in the blink of an eye, another month had passed. Although he had made great progress in the merging of the 3 wills, he was still lacking a little and it was difficult to merge them completely. At this time, the 3-month deadline of the 100 Gods slope was about to arrive. Lu Ming left the Temple of Paragon and rushed out with all his might. His speed was much faster and 2 days later, Lu Ming was out of the 100 Gods slope. Once out of the 100 Gods slope, Lu Ming's genuine qi immediately recovered. It was like a surging river, surging vigorously and reaching its peak. I didn't expect that after being suppressed for 3 months, there would still be progress. Now that I've reached the limit of the martial ancestor realm, I've comprehended the wills of wind, fire, and thunder. When I return, I can start refining my genuine qi. Whoosh. Lu Ming soared into the sky and flew towards the myriad star city. 2 hours later, Lu Ming entered the Emperor God Palace and returned to the East Sky Courtyard. Lu Ming is finally back. A deep voice came from the clouds not far away. Then, a figure flashed and disappeared. East Sky Courtyard. Now, I'll start refining my genuine chi with the 3 wills. Lu Ming sat down cross-legged. Boom, boom, boom. 3 powerful intents burst forth, but they disappeared in a flash. Lu Ming controlled the 3 intents and dissolved them in his dantian. Bang, bang, bang. Then, the 3 wills struck the vortex as if they were hammering iron. The cyclone vibrated, and sparks flew out of it. Bang, bang, bang. Lu Ming continued to control the 3 types of essence of heaven and earth, bombarding the cyclone continuously. Sparks flew out from the impact. They were genuine chi. Genuine chi as steel iron. His true chi was like mixed iron, and his true essence was like fine steel. If it wasn't for the concept of heaven and earth, there was no other way to achieve this. Once one reached the peak of the 9th layer martial ancestor realm, one's chi would be extremely condensed. It would be extremely difficult to temper it, was to refine it. To refine. Fortunately, Lu Ming cultivated 3 types of heaven and earth concept at the same time. The tempering effect was many times stronger than that of a single concept. It was not as simple as multiplying it by 3. Bang! The 3 wills continued to bombard the heavens and earth. Sparks flew in all directions. At the same time, there were dragon roars. Half an hour later, the chi whirlpool shook violently. Then, a crystal-like liquid floated out. Genuine chi. Haha, I've finally refined a strand of genuine chi. Afterward, Lu Ming put in more effort to temper. After the first strand of genuine chi was born, the rest was much easier. Genuine chi continued to be refined. 2 hours later, the genuine chi in the chi whirlpool and meridians had been refined into crystal-like genuine chi. However, Lu Ming discovered a fact. The amount of quintessential essence was too little. It was less than 1% of the previous quintessential energy. Transforming genuine chi to genuine chi was like transforming force to intent. It was a qualitative improvement. Genuine chi was dozens of times more condensed than genuine chi. Of course, it was much more powerful. Once the genuine chi was refined into genuine chi, only 1 out of 100 could be refined. Lu Ming felt empty in his dantian and meridians. Supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Lu Ming waved his hand and 5,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals appeared beside him. Explode! Lu Ming shouted. Bang! 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 All 5,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals exploded. The 9 dragons' bloodline opened its mouth and swallowed. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth flowed into the 9 dragons' bloodline's mouth like a tide. It then turned into genuine chi and flowed into Lu Ming's body. It replenished Lu Ming's genuine chi. Soon, Lu Ming's body was filled with genuine chi again. Continue refining. Then, Lu Ming began refining again. After the genuine chi turned into genuine chi, more genuine chi flowed into the 9 dragons' bloodline. The proportion of genuine chi in Lu Ming's body increased. 1%, 2%, 3%. Soon, all 5,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals had been used up. Lu Ming took out another 5,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals. The process of refining genuine chi consumed a lot of supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Therefore, Lu Ming had already exchanged for supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Refining went on like crazy. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. In 3 days, Lu Ming had used up all his supreme-grade spiritual crystals. At this time, Lu Ming's genuine chi had only reached 50%. Horrifying. It was really horrifying. Lu Ming had a total of 45,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. The energy required by the true dragon fighting skill is too terrifying. An ordinary person would need at most 10,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals. But I need so much. It's too terrifying. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. It seems that I still need to get a batch of supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Lu Ming sighed. In fact, it was possible to absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth and refine it slowly. However, that would take too long and Lu Ming could not afford it. Supreme-grade spiritual crystals. How can I get enough of them? Lu Ming thought hard. Previously, He had already sold everything he could and exchanged them for supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Now, he didn't have much left to sell. I got some dragon grass in the dragon's cave. I wanted to keep it to cultivate the true dragon fighting skill. Now that the true dragon fighting skill has reached level 9, it is no longer useful. I can sell it. Also, I can sell the sword-shaped herb I got at the 100 Gods slope. I can definitely sell it for a good price. Lu Ming thought. Oh right, that guy's storage ring. He thought of the storage ring of the burly young man he killed at the 100 Gods slope. He immediately opened it to take a look. Lu Ming was overjoyed when he saw it. There were 10,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals. There were also some other things that could be worth at least 1,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals. That burly young man was the son of a guardian of the Wind Palace. It was normal for him to have so many supreme-grade spiritual crystals. He probably saved them to refine his genuine qi. Now, all of them were given to Lu Ming. Let's go to the rare treasure house. Chapter 454. Lu Ming left the eastern sky courtyard and soared into the sky, heading towards the mystical treasure house. Lu Ming finally left the eastern sky courtyard. Looking at his direction, he should be heading towards the mystical treasure house. Quickly send a message to senior brother Shui. As soon as Lu Ming left the eastern sky courtyard, a youth appeared in the clouds in the distance. He took out a 1,000 miles sound transmission talisman and sent a message. Lu Ming did not use his fastest speed, because there were many people in the sky. If he was too fast, it would be easy for him to get into trouble. After a while, the mystical treasure house came into view. Lu Ming. Just at this moment, a cold shout reverberated between heaven and earth. Lu Ming furrowed his brows and turned around. Behind him, 2 youths were flying towards him. Seeing the 2 of them, Lu Ming furrowed his brows. Qiu Changkong, and it's actually him? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. One of them was Qiu Changkong. As for the other, Lu Ming recognized him with a single glance. He was the same youth who had sent the invitation letter to the Divine Guard selection at the Mystic Origin Sword Sect. Qiu Changkong and Shui Chao instantly arrived in front of Lu Ming. Why did the 2 of you call for me? Lu Ming asked indifferently. What's the matter? Haha, Lu Ming, you seem to have forgotten quickly. More than 3 months ago, you contradicted the Thunder Palace Master in front of everyone in the Thunder Palace. That was simply outrageous. I don't mind telling you, I'm the Lightning Palace Master's 3rd disciple, Shui Chao. Today, I'll seek justice for my master. Shui Chao's face was gloomy as he stared at Lu Ming and shouted. His voice was very loud, and it spread far and wide. Even the people in the mystical treasure house were alarmed. That's Shui Chao and Lu Ming. I heard that 3 months ago, Lu Ming disrespected the Lightning Palace Master. Looks like Shui Chao is going to find trouble with Lu Ming. Isn't that right? Lu Ming is arrogant. He's finished this time. Hey, there's a good show to watch. Ear-piercing sounds continued to ring out as hundreds of people surrounded them. Seek justice. Lu Ming's lips curled into a cold smile as he laughed loudly. What a joke. That day, I followed the normal procedure and went to the Thunder Hall to listen to the lecture. But the Thunder Hall Master wanted to chase me away for no reason. How could I not go against such an action? There's a saying that goes, if the Emperor breaks the law, he will be punished the same as the commoners. So what if it's the Thunder Palace Master? If he's wrong, why can't I say anything? Presumptuous. Arrogant. Shui Chao shouted. His gaze was threatening as he said, Lu Ming, how audacious. My master is the Thunder Hall Master and has made great contributions to the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. He has a venerated status and is not someone that an ant like you can go against. You still dare to boast shamelessly and disrespect my master. My master is open-minded and won't lower himself to your level. However, as his disciple, I can't just sit by and watch. Today, I will teach you a lesson on behalf of my master. Boom. After speaking, an incomparably terrifying aura erupted from Shui Chao's body. This aura was so powerful that it caused even the space to tremble slightly. Some people on the side couldn't withstand this aura and frantically retreated. This was the aura of a king, the pressure of a king. Lu Ming's pupils constricted. Back in the Mystic Essence Sword sect, Xue Chao was clearly only a half-step king. Who would have thought that after not seeing him for a while, Xue Chao had already broken through to the king realm? Being able to break through to the king realm at this age was already very rare. Rumble. The king realm aura was like an ancient divine mountain as it pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming's figure moved slightly as he resisted this pressure. Xue Chao is going to make a move. Lu Ming is finish. Serves him right. Lu Ming is so arrogant and self-righteous. I already expected that he would suffer. Now, Xue Chao is teaching Lu Ming a lesson on behalf of his master. It's reasonable. As a person, it's better to keep a low profile. Otherwise, you won't even know how you died. If he wasn't so self-righteous and didn't dream of cultivating several intents at the same time, he would have already taken the Wind Palace Master as his master. If he took the Wind Palace Master as his master, Xue Chao wouldn't dare to make things difficult for him. Humph. He only has himself to blame. Many people who disliked Lu Ming gloated over his misfortune and made sarcastic remarks. Lu Ming, kneel down and admit your mistake. I can forgive you. Xue Chao shouted as he took a step forward. Rumble. The heaven and earth shook as the space rumbled. Xue Chao's step seemed to have 100 million pounds of force. With this step, the aura on his body became even stronger. Lu Ming, hurry up and kneel down and admit your mistake. Beg my senior brother to forgive you. On the side, Qiu Changkong also shouted. Qiu Changkong, do you want to die? Lu Ming's eyes turned cold as he looked at Qiu Changkong with eyes filled with killing intent. Immediately, Qiu Changkong felt his body go cold and his scalp go numb. He subconsciously took a few steps back. Hee, coward. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lu Ming, you want to die. Qiu Changkong came to his senses and his face turned red. He pointed at Lu Ming and shouted crazily. You're a mad dog. Lu Ming glanced at Qiu Changkong and then looked at Xue Chao. With a wave of his hand, a long spear appeared in his hand. Whoosh. The tip of the spear pointed at Xue Chao and said, cut the crap. If you want to fight, let's fight. Haha, you want to fight with me? Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Xue Chao laughed. Countless lightning bolts surrounded his body and he looked like a thunder god. Stop. At this moment, a loud roar was heard. Rumble. In the sky, a tall figure suddenly appeared. His body was emitting a terrifying aura. This aura was so oppressive that the crowd almost couldn't breathe. How can you fight near the mystical treasure restaurant? If you want to fight, go to the Divine Guard's platform. The tall figure roared furiously. Guardian. Seeing this figure, Xue Chao's face turned grave. There were 9 halls in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace and each hall only had 3 guardians. Each of them was extremely powerful. Although Xue Chao had broken through to the martial king realm, he still had to behave in front of the guardians. I'll leave my words here. If you continue to fight here, I won't hold back. The protector said coldly. Then, with a flicker of his body, he disappeared from the place. Damn it. Lu Ming, you're lucky today. I'll let you off for now. However, there will be a time when you leave the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. At that time, I'll teach you a lesson. Xue Chao snorted coldly with an ugly face. I'm lucky. Hehe, Xue Chao, you came to find trouble with me and now you want to leave. How can there be such a good thing in the world? Lu Ming said flatly. Lu Ming, what do you mean? Do you want to fight with me? Xue Chao sneered. That's right. Xue Chao, I'm officially challenging you now. Do you dare to fight with me at the Divine Guard's platform? Lu Ming shouted as he pointed his spear at Xue Chao. His voice swept out in all directions like a storm. The scene was in an uproar. What? Lu Ming took the initiative to challenge Xue Chao? Did I hear it wrong? Crazy. Lu Ming is crazy. Is he blind? Can't he see that Xue Chao is already a martial king? How dare he challenge him? Chapter 455. Someone below the king realm actually dared to challenge a king realm cultivator. If he wasn't crazy, then he must have eaten a flood dragon's gallbladder. Since ancient times, those below the king realm who dared to challenge a king realm cultivator were as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. Almost everyone thought that Lu Ming must have been blinded by his own arrogance. Even Xue Chao himself was stunned. After a while, he reacted and said in a daze, "What? What did you say? You want to challenge me? That's right. Don't tell me you don't dare to accept the challenge." Lu Ming said, "Don't dare to accept the challenge? Ha ha ha, alright, I accept your challenge. I'll accept it 10,000 times. Xue Chao was almost shouting. He was too excited. He never thought that Lu Ming would actually challenge him. Was there something wrong with his head? Originally, the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace had a rule that kings couldn't challenge martial artists below the king realm. This was because the gap between them was too big. There was no suspense at all. It would be a one-sided slaughter. Even if a king realm cultivator took the initiative to challenge, martial artists below the king realm could also reject. Therefore, when he was stopped by the Guardian, he felt helpless and didn't take the initiative to challenge Lu Ming. In his opinion, even if he challenged, Lu Ming would reject. Never in his wildest dreams would he expect that Lu Ming would challenge him. Wasn't this exactly what he wanted? At the side, Qiu Changkong was so excited that his whole body was trembling. He kept shouting in his heart, "Courting death, ha ha ha. Lu Ming is courting death. In that case, let's fight at the Divine Guard's platform." After saying that, Lu Ming took the lead and flew towards the Divine Guard's platform. Xue Chao and Qiu Changkong hurriedly followed, as if they were afraid that Lu Ming would run away. There's a good show to watch. Quickly send a voice transmission and ask junior brother to come and watch. It's rare to see someone below the king realm challenging a king realm cultivator. Quick, send a voice transmission too. The hundreds of people present all sent voice transmissions to those they were familiar with, asking them to come and watch. Then, they followed Lu Ming and flew towards the Divine Guard's platform. Swish! The space trembled, and a tall figure appeared. It was the Guardian from before. Interesting, let's go and watch. In the next moment, the figure disappeared. As Lu Ming flew, his eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit. The reason why he challenged Xue Chao was not because he was hot-headed, but because he had thought it through carefully. He had a crazy plan in his mind. He planned to use Xue Chao's power to fuse the three concepts of wind, fire, and thunder. Yes, he needed external help. In the past, he had experienced the same thing. The reason why he had been able to successfully fuse the power of wind and fire was because he had relied on Qiu Changlia's pressure to fuse them together. He wanted to repeat the same trick. And Xue Chao was undoubtedly a very good target. With Lu Ming's current strength, he could kill a bunch of ordinary half-step kings with one move. It was not challenging at all. However, he had no confidence in challenging those veteran kings. As for Xue Chao, it was obvious that he had just broken through to the king realm. His strength was not considered strong among the king realm, and he was just right for a fight. Soon, the Divine Guards arrived. In a flicker, Lu Ming appeared on the Divine Guard platform. Xue Chao also descended from the Divine Guard platform. Wang, buzz. Right at this moment, the space suddenly shook, and then several figures appeared in the sky. Palace Lords, the Palace Lords have arrived. Wind Palace Lord, Fire Palace Lord, Thunder Palace Lord, and Metal Palace Lord. 4 Palace Lords have come at once. It's rare for a King Realm cultivator to challenge a King Realm cultivator, so it's normal for the Palace Lords to come. The arrival of the Palace Lords in the sky immediately caused a burst of exclamations. Haha, you guys are fast. A loud laugh sounded as another figure appeared in the sky. This figure was tall and sturdy. Although he had a head of white hair, he still looked spirited. Earth Palace Lord has also arrived. Someone shouted. 5 of the 9 Palace Lords had arrived, which was more than half of them. Disciple greets Master. Seeing Thunder Palace Lord arrive, Xue Chao revealed a joyful expression. He flew into the sky and saluted Thunder Palace Lord. Well, I already know the whole story. Since Lu Ming is so arrogant and conceited, then you should teach him a good lesson so that he will remember. Thunder Palace Lord said indifferently. Yes, Master. Xue Chao revealed a joyful expression as he descended from the battle platform. Whoosh! Whoosh! At this moment, ear-rending sounds could be heard as figures rushed over from all directions of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace like ants. After a while, more than 10,000 people had appeared near the Divine Guard battle platform. This showed how big of a commotion this challenge had caused. Haha, Lu Ming, you should feel honored that so many people have come to see you get beaten up. Xue Chao laughed. We haven't fought yet, so I advise you not to be too happy. If you lose to me, you will be embarrassed. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Lose to you? Haha, Lu Ming, you really can think of that. You must be out of your mind. There's no such possibility. Xue Chao laughed maniacally. Is that so? Lu Ming smiled faintly as he suddenly smiled. Xue Chao, how about this? Since you are so confident, why don't we make a bet? Bet? What do you want to bet? Xue Chao's eyes lit up. If Lu Ming wanted to bet with him, wouldn't that be giving him money? How could he not agree? I'll bet with you with this. Lu Ming waved his hand and a sword-shaped herb appeared in the air, floating in front of Lu Ming. Once the sword-shaped herb appeared, it emitted a terrifying sword intent. Clang! 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 The 9 leaves of the sword-shaped herb were like divine swords as they emitted a clanging sound. 9 rays of sword light shot up into the sky. This, even Lu Ming himself was dumbfounded. Previously, the sword-shaped herb did not have such a phenomenon in the 100 Gods slope. He did not expect it to emit such a horrifying phenomenon, which was beyond Lu Ming's expectations. The others in the surroundings were dumbstruck as well, and they were flabbergasted. What kind of spiritual herb is this? How could it cause such a phenomenon? Such a powerful sword intent. It's too powerful and mysterious. One of my sword skills is showing signs of a breakthrough. Treasure. This is a real treasure. Around him, some people let out excited roars. Boom. Boom. Just then, the 5 palace lords emitted a horrifying wave of energy as they stared at the sword-shaped herb with their eyes wide open. This is, after the death of a supreme expert, his sword will didn't dissipate. After thousands of years, it can only be born by chance. It contains a trace of the supreme expert's sword Dao. The Palace Lord of Wind said with a trembling voice. Treasure. A supreme treasure. The Palace Lord of Fire also said with a trembling voice. How could this kid have such a treasure? I must get it. The Palace Lord of Thunder's eyes were filled with greed. Lu Ming, how about selling this sword-shaped herb to me? I'll give you 60,000 spiritual crystals. The Palace Lord of Gold was the first to speak. 60,000 spiritual crystals? Old monster Jin, you are dreaming. I'll give you 80,000 spiritual crystals. The Palace Lord of Fire shouted. Lu Ming, I'll give you 100,000 spiritual crystals to buy your sword-shaped herb. Chapter 456. The surrounding people were once again dumbfounded. The battle had not even started yet, but the leaders had already started to fight over the plant that Lu Ming had taken out. And the price had reached a horrifying 100,000 spirit crystals, which had made a lot of people's souls shiver. 100,000 spirit crystals. What kind of concept was that? A lot of people would not even be able to see that many spirit crystals in their lifetime. The Thunder Palace leader stood on the side with a gloomy face. He also wanted to bid, but he could not bring himself to do so. But he really wanted to get the plant. But if Lu Ming sold it to one of the leaders, then he would have no hope at all. Seniors. Right then, Lu Ming suddenly held his fists together toward the leaders in the sky. His clear voice was heard. Seniors, I am a man of my words. I have said before that I would use this plant as a prize. So, I will definitely do it. After I win, I will sell it to you. Hearing him, all the leaders shook their heads and sighed. Around them, most of the people were cursing Lu Ming for being such an idiot. The leaders had offered such a high price, and he still did not want to sell it. Instead, he wanted to sell it after he won. Was that even possible? Xue Chao's luck is way too good. This Lu Ming is just an idiot. He still wants to win against Xue Chao? There is no chance of that happening. Lu Ming was not even a half-step king warrior when he was in the Di Tian Divine Guard exam. Even if he managed to break through during this period of time, he would still not be Xuechao's opponent. The difference between half-step king warriors and king warriors is just too big. Even the most powerful martial geniuses would not be able to make it through. Indeed, since the ancient times, there were very few people who were able to fight against king warriors as half-step king warriors. Those kind of people, as long as they grew up, would all become powerful figures. In the east of the Tianqian region, there was only one person who managed to beat a king warrior as a half-step king warrior. That was the peerless martial genius from 100 years ago. You are talking about Yang Kuangtu? Of course. Apart from him, who else could it be? He is the only peerless monster to defeat a king as a half-step king in the past 1,000 years of the Tianqian region. Later on, he even became the disciple of Supreme Nine Sons. Right now, he is already one of the peak experts of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. How can Lu Ming be compared to Yang Kuangtu? The difference is too great. However, there was one exception, and that was the Thunder Palace Master. At this moment, his heart was bursting with joy. Lu Ming still wanted to use the sword-shaped plant as the prize. Wasn't he giving it to him for free? The Thunder Palace Master tried his best to hold back his laughter. Xuechao, say something. Do you dare to bet with me? My sword-shaped plant is worth 80,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. Do you dare? If not, just say it and I will change it. Lu Ming shouted. 80,000? Xuechao was stunned and stuttered. He didn't have 80,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. He had just broken through to the martial king realm, so he had used up all the top-grade spirit crystals he had on him to refine his vital essence. Moreover, even if he hadn't used them all, it was impossible for him to have 80,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. He was willing to bet with Lu Ming 1,000 times, but he couldn't afford that amount of spiritual crystals. Chao, bet with him. I will pay the spiritual crystals. The Thunder Palace Master said. He waved his hand and a storage ring appeared in his hand. He threw it to Xuechao. Xuechao was overjoyed. He caught the storage ring and said, "Thank you, Master." Millimeter. The Thunder Palace Master nodded calmly, but his heart was bursting with joy. This old man is so cunning. The other palace masters cursed in their hearts. Lu Ming, please be my witness. If I win, I am afraid that someone will go back on their word. Lu Ming cupped his fists at the other palace masters. The crowd was speechless again. Did he really think that he would win? Lu Ming, you don't have to worry about this. Since the few of us are here, none of you can go back on your word. The Wind Palace Master said resolutely. The other palace masters nodded in agreement. Then I'll have to thank the palace masters, Lu Ming said. He then looked around and his gaze fell on a young man with a sword-shaped mark between his eyebrows. He was the leader of the 4 heavenly divine guards, Sheng Wushuang. Sheng Wushuang, since you are here, why don't we have a bet? Lu Ming looked at Sheng Wushuang and said. You want to bet with me? What are we betting on? Sheng Wushuang's eyes were fixed on the sword-shaped herb. He looked away reluctantly and looked at Lu Ming. Of course, we're betting on who will win. Let's bet on the supreme grade spiritual crystals. I'll bet on myself. I'll bet less than you. How about 30,000 supreme grade spiritual crystals? Lu Ming said with a smile. Why wouldn't I dare? I will bet 30,000 spiritual crystals on Brother Xue winning. Sheng Wushuang waved his hand and a huge jade box appeared. When he opened it, it was filled with neat rows of top-grade spiritual crystals that exuded rich spiritual qi. Oh, Sheng Wushuang really has 30,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. He is really rich. Lu Ming muttered. Lu Ming, where are your top-grade spiritual crystals? Take them out. Sheng Wushuang said. Why? Sheng Wushuang, are you afraid that I will go back on my word? Lu Ming said with a smile. He did not have 30,000 top-grade spiritual crystals on him. He only had 10,000 top-grade spiritual crystals and he got them from the burly young man's storage ring. How could he take them out? He was just trying to gain something without risking anything. I don't think you would dare to go back on your word. Sheng Wushuang snorted. Lu Ming, are you done? Xue Chao said coldly. Yes, you can start now. Lu Ming looked at Xue Chao and smiled faintly. Xue Chao was enraged by his attitude. Wait a minute, I'll make you cry. Xue Chao's eyes were filled with killing intent. Boom. A powerful aura burst out from his body. Lightning flashed all over his body and a powerful thunder intent realm burst out. Lu Ming, I will defeat you in 3 moves. Xue Chao roared with a crazy aura. He grasped the air with one hand, and streaks of lightning gathered in his hand, finally forming a lightning sword. Thunder slash. Whoosh. Xue Chao took a step forward and the lightning sword slashed down at Lu Ming. The aura of a martial king was fully released. 9 dragons stomping the sky. Boom. Lu Ming's figure moved and he kicked his leg forward. A terrifying force burst out. The 2 forces collided and Lu Ming's body flew backward. Xue Chao did not move at all. Defeated, Lu Ming is going to be defeated. The difference is too big. Yes, Xue Chao should not have used his full strength. Lu Ming was completely defeated and was sent flying in 1 move. How can he be so arrogant with such little battle strength? I really can't believe it. There was a wave of discussion around. Lose for me. Xue Chao roared, his eyes extremely cold. His body was like lightning, pouncing toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's mouth curved into a sneer. He took a step forward and soared into the sky. 9 dragons in the sky. Boom. Boom. This time, it was 2 steps in a row. The space shook violently as the 2 terrifying forces superimposed and surged toward Xue Chao. Boom. The force overflowed and lightning flashed. Lu Ming and Xue Chao both flew backward. Chapter 457. Sigh. This time, gasps could be heard from all around. Lu Ming actually managed to block Xue Chao's attack. How was that possible? Lu Ming was too strong. Was he trying to defy the heavens? Damn it! Xue Chao shouted angrily. He felt humiliated that Lu Ming had blocked his attack. Martial King experts could easily crush those below the Martial King level, regardless of whether they were geniuses or not. Those who could break through to the Martial King level were peerless geniuses. Those who were not talented would not be able to break through to the Martial King level. Furthermore, those who could break through to the Martial King level were usually Battle 3 geniuses. In other words, the weakest Martial King was a Battle 3 genius when he was a martial ancestor. Of course, nothing was absolute. There were some battle geniuses who broke through to the Martial King level, but they were too rare. They were geniuses, and with the Martial King level, it was too difficult to break through. But now, Lu Ming had actually blocked his attack. It was unbelievable. Tian-class martial skill. Lu Ming's attack is equivalent to a Tian-class martial skill. The Fire Palace Master said with bright eyes. That's right. I didn't expect Lu Ming to be able to cultivate a Tian-class martial skill before becoming a martial king. His talent is indeed extraordinary. Although it can barely be considered the first level of a lower Tian-class martial skill, it's still very rare. The Wind Palace Master nodded. Of course, the Palace Masters did not hide their words and spread it far and wide. The crowd suddenly realized that Lu Ming had cultivated a Tian-class martial skill. No wonder he could block Xue Chao's attack. One had to know that even among the low-level martial kings, there were many who had yet to cultivate a Tian-level martial skill. Xue Chao, didn't you say you would defeat me in 3 moves? Now you have 2 moves, 1 more. Lu Ming said with a smile. You're courting death. Xue Chao roared. Boom. An even stronger aura suddenly rushed out of Xue Chao's body. True Yuan like a stormy sea filled his entire body. True Yuan and Intent Realm made Xue Chao's aura extremely strong. This was the true strength of a martial king expert. However, this was not the end. A lightning sword danced in the air, extremely resplendent. 6 silver chakras revolved around the sword. Lu Ming's expression turned serious. Xue Chao was about to unleash his full strength. Lu Ming, you forced me to do this. If you can't take this move, you'll die. You brought this on yourself. Purple lightning annihilation sword. Xue Chao let out a long howl and charged toward Lu Ming like a thunder god, slashing out a terrifying sword gleam. Boom! Without any hesitation, Lu Ming activated his bloodline, which had already been converted to 50% of his true origin, and began to circulate it madly. Subsequently, the wind and fire concepts soared into the sky. True Dragon Strike. Xiao Chen thrust out his spear, and a two-colored true dragon roared as it flew out. Waves of dragon roars shook the heavens and earth. At this moment, everyone was stunned. Boom! The two-colored dragon collided heavily with Xue Chao's thunder battle sword. The Divine Guard battle platform rumbled violently and trembled. Horrifying power chi and intent realm shot out madly in all directions. Everyone was shocked and wanted to dodge. However, several palace masters waved their hands and formed a light screen, blocking the power chi. Boom! The light on the Divine Guard platform dissipated. A figure retreated 9 steps, each step causing the platform to rumble. It was Lu Ming. Xue Chao also retreated 3 steps. Gosh! Everyone stared blankly at the 2 figures on the battle platform. Obviously, Lu Ming was at a disadvantage. However, everyone was not shocked by Xue Chao's strength. On the contrary, they were shocked by Lu Ming. Xue Chao had already unleashed his full strength, but Lu Ming was still able to withstand it. He was only at a slight disadvantage, and even pushed Xue Chao back a few steps. How could this be? Many people even rubbed their eyes hard, thinking that they were dreaming. Nest, what am I seeing? I am witnessing a miracle. A half-step king could actually withstand a king's attack and even push him back. This is crazy. Does this mean that Lu Ming already has the battle strength of a king? Gosh, this is too shocking. Many Di-Tian Divine Guards around were so excited that their faces were flushed red, and they were shouting loudly. Even the hall leaders were astounded. Wind and Fire Intent Realm. This is the fusion of the Wind and Fire Intent Realm. Lu Ming obviously had not comprehended the Intent Realm before, but now, he has comprehended 2 intents. This speed is too fast. Wind Palace Master said in shock. Cultivating 2 attributes at the same time, and being able to comprehend 2 forces to the level of concept in such a short period of time. This kind of talent is really too shocking. Fire Palace Master sighed. Especially Wind Palace Master. When he thought of persuading Lu Ming to give up on the Fire Intent Realm and was rejected by Lu Ming, he was unhappy and thought that Lu Ming was arrogant and stubborn. Now that he thought of it, his face was a little hot. Lu Ming told everyone that he was not arrogant or stubborn, but that he had the talent to cultivate 2 intents at the same time. On the side, Thunder Palace Master's face was extremely gloomy. In the crowd, Sheng Wushuang's face was even uglier. He was the first person to berate Lu Ming like an elder. He said that Lu Ming's future was limited because he cultivated 2 intents at the same time, and that he could not compare with him in the future. But the truth was that Lu Ming's speed was still terrifying even though he cultivated 2 intents at the same time, much faster than many people who cultivated 1 intent. In such a short time, he had comprehended 2 intents at the same time. This was simply a slap to his face. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Sheng Wushuang, what do you think of my Wind and Fire Intent Realm? As if he felt Sheng Wushuang's gaze, Lu Ming looked at him and said with a smile. Humph, it's just luck. So what if you have comprehended the Wind and Fire Intent Realm? You're still going to lose. Sheng Wushuang sneered. Is that so? The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up into an inexplicable smile. Lu Ming, go die. On the battle stage, Xue Chao roared. He felt like he was going crazy. He was a martial king expert, but he was forced back by a half-step king. This was a great humiliation, and from now on, he would become a laughingstock among kings. Since ancient times, how many kings had been forced back by a half-step king? He could go down in the history books. Therefore, he was angry, and he hated that he could not tear Lu Ming into pieces. Lu Ming, with your Wind and Fire Intent Realm, how can you stop me? Purple Lightning Annihilation Sword, die. Xue Chao roared, his killing intent surging like a tide. Zhen Yuan gushed out, lightning flashed, and sword chi tore through the sky. With such a powerful battle strength, he could kill a large number of ordinary half-step kings with one sword. Unfortunately, Lu Ming was not an ordinary half-step king. If the wind and fire intent realm is not enough, then I'll add another one, Lu Ming said coldly. Bang! Sizzle. Then, another heaven and earth intent realm rushed out from Lu Ming's body, and lightning appeared in the sky. Thunder intent realm. As soon as the thunder intent realm appeared, the heaven and earth suddenly quieted down. Space and time seemed to have frozen at this moment. Everyone's eyes were wide open as they stared at Lu Ming. Chapter 458. Hiss hiss hiss. Then, there was the sound of people sucking in cold air. Ah, what's that? Thunder concept. Oh heavens, oh earth, Lu Ming has actually cultivated the thunder concept and has already comprehended it successfully. 3 concepts, how is that possible? I've never seen him use the thunder concept before. This is too heaven-defying, too heaven-defying. Cultivating 3 concepts at the same time and improving so quickly. How are others supposed to live? In the past, those who said that Lu Ming was arrogant, conceited, and stubborn are really blind. Lu Ming obviously knows his own limitations and knows his own talent. That's why he cultivated 3 types of intents. If he only cultivated 1 type of intents, he would really be stubborn and a waste of talent. Shoo, lower your voice. That's what the Wind and Thunder Palace Masters said. The Thunder Palace Master even asked Lu Ming to get out of the Thunder Palace and not let him attend the lecture. Ah, it's over. Did he hear it? But I'm telling the truth. Cough, cough. In the sky, the Wind Palace Master coughed and looked embarrassed. Haha, it seems like I've made a mistake. The Wind Palace Master laughed and wasn't angry. However, it was a different story for the Thunder Palace Master. His eyes were filled with hatred as he stared at Lu Ming. That day, he berated Lu Ming and asked him to get out of the Thunder Summit. He said that Lu Ming wasn't qualified to listen to his lecture and would never amount to anything in his life. He even used his aura to suppress Lu Ming. But how long had it been? Not only did Lu Ming cultivate the wind and fire concepts, but he also cultivated the thunder concept. This was equivalent to Lu Ming repeatedly slapping him in the face. Damn it, little bastard. If I say that you're useless, you should be useless for your entire life. Now that you've cultivated to such a level, you're clearly going against me and causing me to lose face. This is a capital offense, a capital offense. The Thunder Palace Master roared in his heart and his eyes were extremely sinister. As soon as Lu Ming's concept of lightning appeared, it shook the entire audience and set off a monstrous clamor. Even Xue Chao himself was incomparably shocked. He retreated a few steps and even forgot to attack. Lu Ming's aura was wild as the 3 different mentalities intertwined together. Holding the long spear in one hand, he walked step by step towards Xue Chao. Xue Chao, bring out your full strength. That's all you've got. You disappoint me. Lu Ming berated. Lu Ming, do you think you can fight me just because you've unleashed 3 concepts? Naive. Die. Xue Chao forced himself to calm down, killing intent flashing in his eyes. Kill, he must kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming's talent was too strong, making him tremble with fear. As for Qiu Changkong, he was in the crowd. His face had already turned pale. Purple lightning 1,000 sword slash. Xue Chao roared and raised his strength to the peak. He slashed out with his battle sword and countless lightning sword chi slashed towards Lu Ming. 1,000 dragons kill. Lu Ming executed the second move of the 3 ultimate skills of the dragon god. Wind, fire, and lightning. The 3 mentalities merged together and pierced out with the long spear. Instantly, dragon roars resounded. Countless small 2-colored true dragons flew out and pounced towards the sword chi. Yes, it was still 2-colored because the lightning mentalities hadn't completely merged with the wind and fire mentalities. Although they hadn't merged, Lu Ming's battle prowess had increased greatly with the addition of the lightning mentalities. Boom! Boom! The lightning sword chi clashed with the 2-colored true dragons and exploded like fireworks. In just a few breaths, thousands of explosions rang out. Kill! 2 loud roars rang out. Lu Ming and Xue Chao shuttled through the turbulent energy waves and clashed heavily. Boom! Boom! The two of them clashed continuously. The sword chi and the spear light shot up tens of thousands of meters into the sky and stirred up the clouds. At the scene, everyone held their breaths and stared blankly at the two of them. Not enough. The pressure isn't enough. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Although Xue Chao was slightly stronger than him, it was very limited and couldn't give him enough pressure to merge the wind and fire mentalities. Xue Chao, is this all you've got? Martial King? I think you're the trashiest Martial King, right? If I were you, I would just cripple my own cultivation. Lu Ming shouted, full of disdain. The crowd was speechless. Although Xue Chao had just broken through to Martial King, he was definitely not the trashiest Martial King. Xue Chao himself was a terrifying genius. When he was a martial ancestor, he was a four-battle genius. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been chosen by the Thunder Palace Master and taken in as a disciple. A four-battle genius from the martial ancestor realm wouldn't be the trashiest Martial King. His battle prowess wouldn't be too weak. However, in Lu Ming's words, he was the trashiest Martial King. The Thunder Palace Master was so angry that his lips trembled. As for Xue Chao, he was so angry that his eyes were bloodshot. At this point in the battle, Xue Chao knew that he was destined to become a laughingstock. However, he still had a chance. As long as he defeated Lu Ming, he would be able to save some face. He clenched his teeth and roared, "Lu Ming, you forced me to do this. You forced me to do this." Xue Chao roared as his finger emitted a glow. A pill appeared and was swallowed by him. Bang! After Xue Chao swallowed the pill, the true qi in his body went berserk as if it had gone mad. It was now twice as strong as before. Die! Xue Chao's eyes were bloodshot as his hair danced in the wind. He held the thunderous battle sword in his hand and charged toward Lu Ming. The increase in the strength of his true qi greatly increased his battle prowess. Dang! Lu Ming exchanged blows with Xue Chao. He could feel a surge of violent energy surging toward him, causing his body to involuntarily retreat. Such a powerful force. Haha, just nice. Lu Ming was filled with battle intent. However, the crowd was in an uproar. That's the energy burst pill. Xue Chao actually took the energy burst pill. How despicable. Once the energy burst pill is taken, one's true qi will go berserk and become twice as strong as before. However, the side effects are also very severe. After the effect of the pill wears off, one's true qi will become impure and even sluggish. There will be a long period of weakness, and one will have to pay a huge price to recover. Hehe, especially for someone like Xue Chao who has just broken through. The energy burst pill is equivalent to a poisonous pill. If he doesn't handle it well, his future path of martial arts will be cut off. He's being forced into a corner. Discussions broke out all around. Thunder Palace Master, Xue Chao has already violated the rules. In the sky, the Wind Palace Master's face turned ugly as he looked at the Thunder Palace Master. Violated the rules? How so? Before the competition, there was no rule that forbade the use of external force. The Thunder Palace Master said coldly. You are really despicable. The Wind Palace Master was furious, but there was nothing he could do. Indeed, before the competition, who would have thought of this? Who would have thought that Xue Chao would use external force? Everyone thought that Xue Chao would definitely win. They were not worried that Lu Ming would use external force, which was already considered good. Die, little bastard, die. In the crowd, Sheng Wushuang roared. This battle was not only related to his reputation, but also related to 30,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Naturally, he would pay special attention to it. Boom. At this moment, the battle in the fighting ring continued. With the help of the energy burst pill, Xue Chao madly attacked Lu Ming. Die, die. Chapter 459. He was well aware of the side effects of the energy burst elixir. He had never thought of taking it. The energy burst elixir was for him to save his life at a critical moment, but he had no choice because of Lu Ming. Today, he had to win. He had no way out. Once he lost, not only would he lose face, but he would also lose 80,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals. To him, 80,000 supreme-grade spiritual crystals was an astronomical figure that he could not bear. Therefore, he blamed everything on Lu Ming. He wanted to eat his flesh and drink his blood. Boom! Xue Chao held the lightning sword and attacked Lu Ming violently. Lu Ming blocked with his long spear. 3 wills intertwined as he fought with Xue Chao. Boom! Boom! The fighting ring shook continuously. Wills filled the air and true yuan shot out. Lu Ming cultivated the true dragon battle art. He had reached the 9th level and had 10 times the true qi. Although he had only converted 50% of it, the other half was still true qi. When he circulated it, it was somewhat obscure and could not explode with his full strength. However, it was still comparable to Xue Chao's true yuan. In terms of wills, the 3 wills combined were still incomparable to a wills that had condensed a will's rune. However, with the addition of the 3 ultimate skills of the dragon god, the power would not be too far off. Therefore, Lu Ming could fight with Xue Chao. However, after Xue Chao swallowed the energy burst elixir, Lu Ming was completely at a disadvantage. However, Lu Ming was even more excited. Yes, this is the feeling, this is the feeling. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He used the 3 wills to the extreme. The 3 wills intertwined together and clashed with Xue Chao. He felt that the thunder wills were merging with the wind and fire wills. Although it was slow, it was indeed merging. Ha ha, fight, fight. Lu Ming roared and used all his strength to fight against Xue Chao. However, he was still at a disadvantage. He was suppressed by Xue Chao's violent attacks and kept retreating. This situation fell into the eyes of others, but they did not think so. They did not know Lu Ming's plan. Lu Ming is going to lose. He's been completely suppressed. That's right. Right now, he's only resisting stubbornly. However, he won't be able to resist for long. Once he's defeated, he'll have to face Xue Chao's storm-like attacks. At that time, he'll probably be defeated and killed. If I were Lu Ming, I would admit defeat now. It's already a great honor to be able to fight a king to this extent. In the past 1,000 years, only Yang Guangtu from 100 years ago could do this. That's right. If Lu Ming can maintain this momentum, his future achievements will be limitless. It would be a pity if he were to die at Xue Chao's hands. By now, more and more people had gathered to watch. There were already more than 20,000 people. Even one of the 9 hall masters had come. Some people were gloating, while others were worried for Lu Ming. I'm certain that Lu Ming will be defeated within 20 moves. Someone said affirmatively. Soon, 20 moves had passed. Lu Ming was still holding on, although the situation didn't look good. Cough, cough. I didn't expect Lu Ming to be so tenacious. This is his will to live supporting him. However, it's useless. This time, he'll be defeated within 30 moves. The person who previously said that Lu Ming would be defeated within 20 moves coughed a few times and spoke again. Soon, another 30 moves had passed. Lu Ming was still holding on. Cough, cough, cough. This time, Lu Ming will definitely be defeated within 50 moves. That person kept coughing. He was very embarrassed, but his mouth was very cheap and he came to a conclusion. The people around him looked at him with disdain and stayed far away from him. Lu Ming didn't know about any of this, nor would he pay attention to it. Now, all his thoughts were on the 3 wills. Soon, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Lu Ming's eyes became brighter and brighter. Boom. Suddenly, the 3 wills roared. Then, with a boom, they merged into one. The fusion was successful. The 3 wills of wind, fire, and thunder had finally merged into one. When the 3 wills merged, the power of the 3 unique skills of the dragon god automatically evolved from low heaven level to high heaven level. In other words, Lu Ming now directly possessed the power of the 3rd level of a high heaven level martial skill. Roar. With a thrust of the spear, a tricolor dragon flew out. The dragon's roar shook the sky. Its aura was extremely terrifying, and it was several times stronger than before. How could this be? What's going on? Xue Chao was shocked. Bang, bang. The thunder sword light that he unleashed with all his strength instantly collapsed in front of the tricolor dragon like trash. The tricolor dragon pounced and clawed at Xuechao's body. Xuechao screamed and his body flew far away. Buzz! Lu Ming's long spear shook and his body rushed out. The long spear lashed out and hit Xuechao's body. Suddenly, the sound of bones breaking was heard. Xuechao's body flew along the fighting ring. After flying for more than 1,000 meters, Xuechao lay on the ground, coughing up blood and twitching non-stop. He was half dead. Everyone's eyes were about to explode. They were tongue-tied as they watched in a daze. Hey, did I stare too hard just now and get dizzy? Am I hallucinating? I actually saw Lu Ming suddenly explode and beat Xuechao half to death. Don't you think it's funny? No way, you saw it too. I thought I was seeing things. It can't be real, right? One is seeing things, two are seeing things, but it can't be all three. I fucking saw it too. Nestle, it can't be. Could this be real? Are we dreaming? Lu Ming actually suddenly erupted and won. How is this possible? How is this possible? Yeah, he was obviously being suppressed. How could he suddenly win? Is he cheating? Everyone looked at the scene in disbelief. They couldn't understand. In the end, they could only think of Lu Ming cheating. Cheating, Lu Ming, you despicable bastard. How dare you cheat in the battle? Qiu Changkong flew out and screamed hysterically. Lu Ming could actually defeat Xuechao, a challenger. Qiu Changkong couldn't accept it. Idiot. Lu Ming glanced at Qiu Changkong indifferently. What did you say? You cheated and you don't allow others to talk about it. How dare you? Tell me, how did you cheat? Tell me honestly. There are so many people here, including the palace masters. How can you be so presumptuous? Qiu Changkong roared. Qiu Changkong, don't go overboard. Even Xuechao could use the energy burst pill. Even if Brother Lu used some tricks, it's not overboard. Jian Fengyun flew out from the crowd and said loudly. He also thought that Lu Ming must have used some tricks. However, if Xuechao could use the energy burst pill, why couldn't Lu Ming use some tricks? He definitely didn't use any ordinary tricks. He must have used some despicable tricks. Qiu Changkong argued, not letting go of Lu Ming. That's right, Lu Ming. This battle doesn't count. Cancel our bet. Sheng Wushuang shouted. Cancel. Sheng Wushuang, you want to go back on your words after losing? Do you think you can do that? Hand over the supreme grade spiritual crystals. Chapter 460. Sheng Wushuang's expression changed as he shouted, Lu Ming, what are you doing? You're the one who cheated first. Nonsense. Lu Ming scolded as he moved his body and clawed at Sheng Wushuang. You have to hand it over today. Lu Ming's cold voice resounded. You. Lu Ming, don't think I'm afraid of you. It's just cheating. Die. Sheng Wushuang roared as his terrifying aura erupted. Sheng Wushuang was very close to the martial king realm. Whether it was the refinement of true essence or the comprehension of intent realm, he was very close to the martial king realm. His battle strength was also very terrifying. He had reached the level of a 5-battle genius. The sword mark on his forehead glowed, and an iron sword flew out and landed in Saint Wushuang's hand. He slashed out with the sword and a mighty sword radiance filled the world as it slashed toward Lu Ming. Unfortunately, it was all in vain. Lu Ming's claw was surrounded by 3 different intent realms and its power was terrifying. Sheng Wushuang's sword radiance was crushed like a bubble in Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming's claw did not stop as he grabbed Sheng Wushuang's neck. Lu Ming squeezed hard and a majestic true essence, wind, fire and thunder intent realm poured into Sheng Wushuang's neck. Sheng Wushuang could not resist at all as Lu Ming grabbed him like a chick. Bam! Lu Ming flung Sheng Wushuang hard. Sheng Wushuang's body was like a toad as he was flung heavily onto the fighting ring. Boom! It was as if the fighting ring had been hit by a meteorite, making a violent roar and shaking non-stop. Crack! Crack! A jarring sound was heard as Sheng Wushuang's bones broke. Sheng Wushuang's body hit the fighting ring and bounced up high before falling down again. He bounced a few times like a rubber ball before coming to a stop. Puff! Sheng Wushuang spat out blood as if it was free. The people around felt their teeth ache and a chill run down their spines. Lu Ming was too violent. Once there was a disagreement, he took action. Most importantly, Sheng Wushuang, the number one genius of the four celestial divine guards, couldn't even last one move from Lu Ming. He was like a helpless chicken. However, their cultivation bases were clearly at the half-step king level. This was too shocking. The difference was too great. They were not on the same level at all. Not far away, Qiu Changkong was so scared that his whole body was trembling non-stop. There was not a trace of blood on his face, and he almost wet his pants. Even Sheng Wushuang couldn't block a single move from Lu Ming. If Sheng Wushuang wanted to deal with him, it would be no different from crushing an ant. What do you mean the number one genius of the four heavens divine guards? You're just a piece of trash. How can such trash be qualified to be on the same level as me? Lu Ming glanced at Sheng Wushuang and said disdainfully, "Poochie." These words caused Sheng Wushuang to vomit blood again. Hall Masters, Lu Ming has gone too far. He used despicable means to win against Xue Chao. He must be severely punished. Saint Wushuang screamed. Enough. At this moment, the Hall Master of Wind shouted coldly. His voice wasn't loud, but it silenced everyone. Lu Ming didn't cheat. The Hall Master of Wind continued. Everyone was stunned. He didn't cheat. How is that possible? He was clearly at a disadvantage before. If he didn't cheat, how could he burst out with such power and defeat Xue Chao in one move? How is that possible? Sheng Wushuang couldn't accept it and shouted. Lu Ming didn't cheat, which meant that he would lose 30,000 spirit crystals. Are you doubting my words? The Hall Master of Wind looked coldly at Sheng Wushuang. Sheng Wushuang suddenly felt a chill and shouted, "No, how would I dare to doubt the Hall Master? It's just that this matter is too strange. Lu Ming must give a reasonable explanation." Reasonable explanation? The reasonable explanation is that Lu Ming broke through in the battle. The Hall Master of Wind said coldly. Then, he looked at Lu Ming with a gentle smile and deep amazement. Lu Ming, in the battle just now, you've completely merged the three essences of wind, fire, and thunder, right? The Hall Master is really insightful, Lu Ming said with a smile. He knew that he couldn't hide it from the Hall Masters. I recently encountered a bottleneck in my cultivation and Xue Chao was looking for trouble with me, so I used him to practice. I didn't expect to break through in such a short time. Speaking of which, I have to thank him. Lu Ming smiled faintly and looked toward Xue Chao. At this moment, Xue Chao was a little more awake and struggled to get up. When he heard these words, he directly spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground, unconscious. It was Qi. Everyone around was dumbfounded. It turned out that the reason Lu Ming challenged Xue Chao was to use him for cultivation. Most importantly, not only did he use Xue Chao for cultivation, but he also made such a big bet with him. It was too unkind. At the same time, they were also shocked by Lu Ming's talent. Different essences couldn't be merged in a casual battle. If it was that simple, everyone would have gone to cultivate. It was all because of Lu Ming's abnormal talent. In the fighting ring, Sheng Wushuang opened his mouth for a long time, but no words came out. What about me? Where are the spiritual crystals? Hurry up and take them out. Lu Ming walked to Sheng Wushuang's side and looked down at him. Sheng Wushuang was on the verge of tears and his lips were trembling. 30,000 spiritual crystals, that was almost all of his wealth. He kept them to refine his true origin and break through to martial king. How could he bear to part with them? The reason why he agreed to bet with Lu Ming was that he was sure to win and earn 30,000 spiritual crystals. Why not? If he knew that he would lose, he wouldn't have taken the bet. He looked at the Hall Masters in the sky with a pleading look. You bet and you lose. Give it to me. Hall Master Feng said coldly. Saint Wushuang's body trembled even more violently. He took out the jade box unwillingly and stared at it, unwilling to part with it. Whoosh! Lu Ming waved his hand and took the jade box. He scanned it and found that there were exactly 30,000 supreme spiritual crystals in it. It's just 30,000 supreme spiritual crystals. It's not a big deal. Do you have to make such an expression? Lu Ming said casually. He happily put the jade box into the Temple of Paragon. Puff. Sheng Wushuang was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood and his body trembled. Lu Ming's words were too infuriating. What did he mean by it was not a big deal? It was 30,000 top-grade spiritual crystals, not 30,000 low-grade spiritual crystals. Sheng Wushuang's face was pale and he looked sad. He was out of his mind. Back then, he was so high and mighty. He looked as if he could judge everything. He gave pointers to Lu Ming like an elder giving pointers to a junior. He said that Lu Ming was not worthy to be his opponent in the future because he cultivated several types of intents and his achievements were limited. How long had it been since then? In front of Lu Ming, he was like a dog that could be easily manipulated. Chapter 461. Now that he thought about it, his expression back then was simply laughable. How could he give pointers to Lu Ming? How could he compare to Sumo? He was right when he said that the gap between him and Lu Ming would only widen. It was just that Lu Ming was far ahead. Everyone's eyes swept over Sheng Wushuang. Many of them shook their heads and sighed. Sheng Wushuang was just born at the wrong time. It wasn't that he wasn't strong, but that Lu Ming was too strong. Lu Ming glanced at Sheng Wushuang indifferently and no longer looked at him. His body moved and appeared in front of Xue Chao. Lu Ming, what are you trying to do? Xue Chao has already lost. Do you dare to make another move? High up in the sky, Temple Master of Thunder's face was extremely gloomy. Who said I'm going to make another move? I'm just going to take the prize that I won. Lu Ming smiled and flicked his finger, sending a stream of true essence into Xue Chao's body. Xue Chao cried out and came to his senses. When he saw Lu Ming in front of him, he screamed in fright, Lu Ming, what? What are you trying to do? Lu Ming was speechless. He curled his lips and said, Xue Chao, you've lost. Hand over the 80,000 supreme spiritual crystals. I. At this moment, he wanted to die. Previously, he had the same thought as Sheng Wushuang. He thought that he would definitely win, so he agreed to bet 80,000 supreme spiritual crystals. He never expected that he would lose. 80,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Xue Chao had never had so many supreme spiritual crystals in his life. They were lent to him by his master and he definitely had to return them. His heart trembled and he cast a pleading look at Temple Master of Thunder. Temple Master of Thunder's eyes flickered and he turned his head away. There were 5 Temple Masters present and he wasn't the only one. If he was alone, things would be easier. But with so many Temple Masters present, he didn't dare to overstep his boundaries. Xue Chao, you must accept your loss. Your master is useless. Hand over the spiritual crystals. The faint voice of the Wind Palace Master sounded. Xue Chao's body trembled. With a pale face, he took out a storage ring. It was the one that the Thunder Palace Master had given him. Lu Ming took it with a smile. He scanned it with his mind, and after confirming that there was no mistake, he put it away. Thanks. I've been lacking spiritual crystals recently, Lu Ming added with a smile, his heart bursting with joy. In such a short period of time, he had earned 110,000 spiritual crystals. These spiritual crystals were too easy to earn. It was even faster than robbing people. Now, Lu Ming had enough spirit crystals to refine his quintessential essence. Xue Chao almost fainted from anger. Lu Ming, are you willing to take me as your master? I won't ask you to only cultivate one type of concept. You can cultivate as many types as you want. I'll only be responsible for teaching you the concept of wind. How about it? Right at this moment, the Wind Hall Master suddenly spoke. Lu Ming was stunned. He hadn't expected the Wind Hall Master to suddenly ask to take him as his disciple. Lu Ming, I'm also willing to take you as my disciple. Are you willing to take me as your master? My conditions are the same as Old Man Feng's. I won't restrict you from cultivating other concepts. I'll only teach you the concept of fire. At this moment, the Fire Hall Master also spoke. The others were shocked. They all looked at Lu Ming in a daze, revealing looks of envy. The Wind Hall Master and the Fire Hall Master both spoke at the same time. They wanted to take Lu Ming as their disciple, and they wouldn't interfere with his cultivation of other concepts. In other words, Lu Ming could take several people as his master at the same time. In this way, Lu Ming could take the Wind Hall Master and the Fire Hall Master as his master at the same time. How could they not be envious? It was extremely difficult for ordinary geniuses to take a Hall Master as their master. How could it be like now, when several Hall Masters wanted to take Lu Ming as their disciple? However, on second thought, it was normal. The talent that Lu Ming had displayed was too shocking. His future was limitless. If they could take him as their disciple, their faction would definitely be able to flourish in the future. In addition, the Metal Hall Master and the Earth Hall Master were also tempted. Unfortunately, their concepts didn't match Lu Ming's. Naturally, they couldn't take Lu Ming as their disciple. They could only look at the Wind Hall Master and the Fire Hall Master with envy. Look, Lu Ming is stunned. He must be so happy that he's stunned, right? Some people said sourly. At this moment, Lu Ming wasn't stunned. He was thinking and hesitating. Yes, Lu Ming was hesitating. The benefits of being able to take the two Hall Masters as his master were self-evident. Not only would he have two powerful backers, but if he could receive guidance from the two Hall Masters in the wind and fire intent, he would definitely be able to avoid many detours. Lu Ming was very tempted by these 2 points. However, Lu Ming was still worried. Lu Ming had too many secrets. Not only did he cultivate divine-grade cultivation techniques, but he also cultivated divine-grade martial skills. He also had the 9-dragon bloodline and the Temple of Paragon. Some secrets couldn't be seen at first glance. However, if he took them as his master and stayed too close to them, it was hard to guarantee that the Hall Masters wouldn't notice. At that time, these secrets would be exposed and he would be in danger. Not to mention many, as long as one of them was exposed, it was hard to guarantee that the Hall Masters wouldn't kill him and steal his treasures. Lu Ming had to consider this point. After thinking for a while, Lu Ming gritted his teeth and made a decision. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed to the Wind and Fire Temple Master, saying, Lu Ming thanks the two Hall Masters for their kindness. However, Lu Ming once took a master and swore that he would never take another master as his master. Here, Lu Ming can only disappoint the two Hall Masters. Lu Ming made up an excuse at the last minute. As soon as he said this, the crowd was shocked and clamored. What? Lu Ming actually rejected it. He actually rejected it. Nestle, did I hear wrong? The two Hall Masters want to take him as their disciple at the same time and won't interfere with his cultivation of other intents. He actually rejected such good conditions? This is too infuriating. Heavens, if he doesn't want this opportunity, give it to me. Just give me half of it. Many people shouted. However, now, no one said that Lu Ming was arrogant. If it was before today, if Lu Ming rejected the two Hall Masters' kindness, there would definitely be a group of people who would stand up and scold him, saying that he was overestimating himself and that he didn't put the Hall Masters in his eyes. But now, even if there were people who thought so, no one dared to scold him. They were afraid that if Lu Ming's cultivation improved greatly after a period of time, their faces would be slapped swollen. The Wind and Fire Temple Masters were also stunned. They didn't expect Lu Ming to reject them. Lu Ming, why don't you think about it again? The Wind Temple Master said. This junior is very grateful for the Wind Temple Master's kindness, but there is an oath that this junior can't go against. Otherwise, I will become an ungrateful person who doesn't respect his masters. Lu Ming cupped his fists again and said. Seeing this, the Wind Temple Master knew that Lu Ming had made up his mind and let out a long sigh. It was a pity to miss such a good talent. At the side, the Wind Temple Master's eyes flashed with joy. Good, good. Lu Ming, if you become the disciple of the Wind Temple Master and the Fire Temple Master, then things will be difficult. Now that you have rejected them, haha, you are courting death. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.